the American flag, Speckled Jim, Star-Spangled Jack, Union Spanky Joe, or whatever the fuck it's called. I could Google it, but I just don't really care. Wait, what the fuck? Metal Wolf Chaos is a game about the 47th president, Michael Wilson, getting dick-stabbed by his vice boy Richard, only for them to duke it out in an all-out mech battle trying to seize control of the country. Insert linear levels, sort of, kind of in-depth robo customization, and big gun, and big explosion, and big fuck. It's Armored Core for dummies, basically. Only it's like my version of dummy, aka cool. This is Armored Core if it showed up to class late every day. This is Armored Core if it fucking stole your bitch. This is Armored Core hanging around the parking garage, pondering the existential dread that is modern day life at 4 a.m. in the morning. Cool. It's mostly just a third-person shooter though, really. One in which you shoot loads of varied shit at loads of varied shit. Like many other FromSoft games, it doesn't feel particularly terrific or intuitive to play initially, due to the gun seeming a bit flaccid, the control scheme being odd, feedback in regards to what or if you're hitting anything being poor, and you don't even feel all that mech-like. Like, there's no heavy, beefy, chunky, rusty, clunky-ass game feel. You could have just as well have been a one-man guy from a contextual point of view, which is weird given that they absolutely nailed that above all else in their other mech games. But shit don't matter. Because, well, I mean, fucking look at it. You're literally demolishing the shit out of absolutely everything. Entire cars, trucks, buildings, boys, towers, planes, none of it's a match for you and your bullshit. It's a power fantasy through and through, pretty much. And like any power fantasy, you can tell that your fake boner is actually flaccid behind the scenes. It's all just stunt doubles, special effects, Viagra, CGI, and yet you're still shouting at the screen as if all of it's actually happening. And so, in Metal Wolf, you aren't actually doing any big gameplay with hardcore tactics or skills or controls. No, you're just mindlessly hammering down buttons, but goddamn if the carnage resulting from this wasn't super satisfying. Everything just explodes, bursting apart in massive chunky chunks with sparks aplenty, loud distorted sound effects, and fake flames coating the screen. And because your aiming reticle is so big, with Metal Wolf automatically gunning down all within its view, you will likely be fucking up tons of stuff unintentionally without really needing to aim at all, resulting in many smaller objects like soldiers, bits of buildings, or billboards and trees or whatever flying around, shooting off the hinges, or physics objecting about the place around the edges of your screen. Add to that the fact that your AC dash mashes through just about anything, or that you automatically take out oncoming missiles within view as well, and you end up with a beautiful ballet of visual cacophony that is hard not to enjoy. Simplicity aside though, it is still very Armored Core-y at its core, in that you dash with the square, in directions with directions, shoot using the trigger bumpers, and of course the zany-ass reticles of previous mention. Only difference being is that you literally carry all weapons at once. Fuck going into menus or carefully decking out your boy in accordance with his weight limit. Like, bruh, that's some coward shit. Just press a fucking button and scroll through an entire armory's worth of guns at your leisure. What's good about this as well is that you scroll with the shoot buttons, so you can literally just keep mashing like a brain-dead asshole no matter what. You know, unless you confuse shit because you're just so used to mashing and end up flipping your guns around mid-combat, but I guess that's only a minor issue. Either way, you can actually go into menus to do menu shit. Not a lot, mind you, but you can assign various areas of development, areas being gun types, and create new weapons over time that you can then equip. You do need points and rare metals to develop shit with, which you find by demolishing everything you come across, and you can even free some hostages who will then make your developmental capabilities more capable. Live Metal Wolf, die Metal Wolf. So the game isn't entirely brain dead, because hey, you can even overheat by boosting too much, which would have been a cool system if you actually ever used it in battle, but instead it just kind of hampers your movement a smidge. Though on the dick flip, your boost bar is also your temp replenishable shield, shielding your actual health pips, so there is some cautiousness needed to not boost into oncoming battles, I guess. And your bullets can also run out, nor is the level design wholly linear at all times. You got your map with objectives, aka things to destroy. The order of destruction is sometimes relevant and sometimes it isn't. There's also side objectives like POWs, and certain objects is better destroyed with certain weapons, but I have to be honest, the general level design and structure are kinda meh. For a start, things can go on for quite a while, getting increasingly repetitive near the end of each stage. Sure, there's some variety in between levels, like blow up X amount of things before time limit, or blow up X amount of things, or blow up X amount of things so you can blow up X amount of other things. But within the levels, it often feels like there's too many X's and not enough Y's. And for an end, this is sadly exacerbated due to the game not using checkpoints. You can take out as many objectives or sometimes even bosses as you want, but if you die, you'll have to do the entire stage over again. It's never really frustrating or anything, but this does end up highlighting just how lackluster the actual game underneath all of the dumb fun is, and that's sad. Plus, or probably more like minus, I think the bosses themselves are by far the biggest letdown overall. There are these huge, spectacle-ass set pieces, like a massive artillery ship, or a giant helicopter, or this trio of mech boys, or the fucking White House itself. Really very cool concepts that sadly all boil down to repetitive bullet sponges. Some will involve a wee tactic, like the 3 mech guys having invincibility shields that need to be taken down by taking down some satellite dishes first, but at the end of the Y, you're still just blowing up X's. Not to mention the boss being one big X that takes a fat 10 minutes of full-on... In a sense, just the sheer fucknuttery of it keeps it from being not fun at all, and there is certainly that same level of exhilaration one can get from, say, Peace Walker's giant mech battles. Those weren't exactly complicated either, but they still had Monster Hunter to steal some homework from, thus offering a bit more, like actually needing to aim and think about what to take down and when in regards to the spoils you'll be getting in the end. But in Metal Wolf, you hit everything on screen automatically, you don't need to dash to avoid shit, aside from the very rare turbo beam, which is usually too slow anyway, nor is the game particularly difficult. Instead, you're just kinda standing there unloading everything you got until bar empty. Again, like everything else, it isn't bad, and it's still fun for the most part simply due to said spectacle, and there is also this crazy rampage move that you'll never see me use, because I only learn about it at the very end due to the game not tutorializing anything, which likely would have sped things along, but overall, it's certainly far from super great or engaging either. Let's party! Metal Wolf Chaos be the type of game in which El Presidente falls from like 1 billion miles up high screaming, "Let's party!" Crash landing into a military base, destroying half of it along the way, only to say, "Sneaked into the base successfully." I have never seen a game in my life that is so consistently sarcastic and stupid. Hideo Kojima wishes he could be this brain dead. I mean, you got this helper lady and she doesn't give a fuck. It's like she's the only person aware of what type of game this is, and it makes even the most boilerplate, "oh no, enemies" lines a joy to listen to. Shit's profound, daring, and totally unpolitical as well. The news lies about everything, the president is a massive dumbass, the vice president an opportunist, the patriotism is memed to absolute shit, the main plot is centered around a coup d'etat which totally isn't a thing many Americans are weirdly prepared for, and things like rogue rich people needing to fund initiatives the government should be funding aren't even remotely political topics in any which way. It's just a fun little mech game in which you blow up all of Beverly Hills as the news be like, "No, our precious rich people and their beautiful mansions," while your lady be all,
I'm sure those those wealthy fat cats will repair the damage, making their homes even more beautiful than before.
In a totally not patronizing tone whatsoever, and you actually save Arizona by turning it into a flaming, rotting carcass of a city.
Finally, peace will be brought to Arizona.
Not to mention the fact that the news and many an American keep supporting the evil Richard despite the fact that he puts people in cages and uses the military for things the military shouldn't be used for and does public executions.
Give up on that man and surrender by 5 p.m. today. This is our final ultimatum. This has been an announcement from the Government Policy Promotion Department, where the password is, "We love Richard Hawk."
Okay, real talk. While the game is obviously rooted in politics and does seem like it has something to say, it is mostly just having fun and seems to be very inconsistent in what it is saying. On one hand, it's almost legitimately reveling in the patriotic American image, but on the other, it seems like either a parody or like they barely even knew what that image was and just put guns and explosions everywhere. Oh, voice crackle! Which, I mean, is kind of what it is, but then it's also like, whoa, the news is evil because it's siding with the evil new president and condemning the good president and, oh no, state control, I guess. And while I hate American news sensationalism as much as the next guy who hates American news sensationalism, which of course does include CNN and their stupid fucking rumor milling and endless speculation and stupid tragedy titles and bringing fucking Richard Spencer on. Just fuck American news, pretty much. But like, if you're gonna make an example out of any US news organization, I'm not sure CNN would have been the greatest example to use. You know, just saying. Which is kind of the thing. They use CNN because that's the big news agency everyone around the world recognizes, and FromSoft Japan in the early 2000s, and they likely knew dick shit about the other ones. And then there's the whole domestic terrorism angle, which wasn't much of a thing in America at the time, but is a big thing today, and while that could have made the game stray far into dicey-ass territories, it really doesn't. It's all just played up for memes, like LOL, white slavery, or haha, New York is being gassed. There's so much you could say with either of these inclusions, like anything from America's racist-ass history or 9/11 to New York's large Jewish community, but it never does. It's just wacky, mustache-twirling villain hijinks, which is probably also a part of them just not knowing all that much about any of these things. Although, politics overall weren't as obnoxious as they are now. Would this game be written today, it likely would have overwritten its satire to tackle specific issues head-on from a clear point of view. And while that could have been quite powerful, it also could have just made it needlessly controversial or tiring depending on where they go with it. So, in that, its innocence from a less loaded time is pretty fucking refreshing. It is a game deeply rooted in politics due to its setting, but not one trying to make a clear statement. At least not one I could find. So, this may in fact be the one true unpolitical war game. Oh, can't even say that shit with a straight fucking face, like goddamn. So yeah, it's not exactly a masterpiece. In fact, on a pure gameplay tip, it's kinda mediocre. The meme sorta outweighed what the game actually was, maybe, but then it is also hard to deny how strong of a meme it is. There's an undeniable charm about the game, even in its explosion-heavy gameplay, and the cutscenes made me smile and laugh throughout quite a lot. It's innocently fun, like smashing action figures and screaming, "Let's party!" at the top of your lungs, and even if maybe your parents are fighting downstairs or something else horrible is happening right beneath your nose that you could think or talk about, but just won't. That said, I don't know if this is remaster, but the audio mixing is downright terrible. During gameplay, it's mostly fine, but in cutscenes, the music is way too quiet, and during codec, it's way too loud, and the FMV cutscenes are fucking deafening. Shit's bonker nuts and may need a patch, especially with a soundtrack this amazing, striking a perfect balance between jazzy Y2K sample pack beats and dumb as fuck speed metal butt rock, whatever you call it. Once again, Metal Wolf has saved the day.